Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this Friday night edition of the Wacky Woo. You can join my co-host tonight, JSNIP4, here on YouTube and also on his Patreon at patreon.com/JSNIP4. Joe, welcome back to the show.
Why, thank you. It's been a little while. We have
It's been a
stuff
long
going on
while.
in our lives. Reschedule. All right, try it again. But it's good because Richard's here with us tonight. So just worked out perfect.
Exactly. And of course, guys, you can find Mr. Richard, or the Woo Woo Dude, or the Dude of Woo, as he is called. You can find him at woowoodude.com. Richard, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. This should be interesting.
Yes, we're going to have a jolly good time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight on this live interactive show on Friday night. We have a lot of topics to discuss. I'm losing my voice a little bit here. I've been talking all day on the phone. We have a lot of topics to discuss, some of them more delicate than others. So you might see us chewing our words a little bit here, just to be careful. As you know, Joe was recently in jail on YouTube. Janine just lost her monetization on YouTube and just got demonetized and a strike also. So the times are a little bit weird, and they're following up on maybe the warning that Cliff gave Joe and I last month, saying that the censorship would actually accelerate here as we went into this chaos of the month of May. Joe, let me start there. What's your understanding? If you've watched some of Cliff High's videos, he was talking about the convergence of convergences here in the month of May. I'll ask Richard also what he sees coming up. But from your perspective, Joe, how is everything here really lining up for an absolutely crazy month? What do you see on the radar, and what can you share with the audience?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten a dream or anything on timing or any kind of issues, but I've gotten some dreams in recent times of saying, hey, we're going to, like, I had a dream of, like, maybe war coming, and like in U.S. involved war, like again another nuke thing offshore. I got that one. I was just I had a bunch of dreams I sent myself that I just email quickly, and then I'll go, okay, I'll write up my book later. And they were piling up over the last like 45 days. And I go, hey, I need to spend some time, damn it, and put these in my book. So I'm writing them, and I'm coming. Oh, I don't remember that one. Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, yeah, that too. I'm just seeing this little chronological order of, this isn't really looking too good. If these are my dreams coming out. And just to give you one that has nothing to do with anything, I have this dream. It's one of these dreams where I'm going, I don't even know if I should write this down, but no, write it down. School maintenance man comes to me at my house and helps me repair a chain link fence gate, specifically the gate part. And I write that down. It was the gate of the fence. Forgot all about it. I'm writing it down, like maybe it was last night. I started going in the book. Boom. There's this entry, and I go, oh my God, I had the gate guy here the other day because the stupid app would no longer operate the gate. He's come out a couple of times trying to figure it out. He can't figure it out. The main company can't figure it out. And I'm like, well, I've got another little device I put out there that at least I can use to open it remotely. Anyway, so I'm going, holy shit. So it happened. And I'm like, I'm like, well, what happened after that? What happened before that? Like,
Fine.
What dream came next? Not to say that they always have to happen in order, but anyways, yeah, things are, I think are going to really heat up. And I was just having a conversation today. And I said, my opinion is we've seen Trump. He's talking about this 2,000 mules thing. We all know what that is, what it shows. He's going to debut it tonight, actually, at one of his things tonight. Trump is. If that goes the way, leads to a string of events I'll just say in his favor.
Right.
Okay, Trump's favor. The deep state needs something pretty bad. They love to distract us.
Yeah.
And it could be a number of things. And again, the whole nuke thing or offshore thing, bomb, that would cause, in my mind, markets would flip out. And not in a good way.
Right.
Everything. So that's why I'm like, maybe that's what's going to trigger some of the stuff that I've been getting. And I'm like, I couldn't believe I saw, how low I saw gold and silver. And I go, there's no way. Like that's the thing that's supposed to rocket. We're waiting. All of the webbot data. It's it's knocking on the door. And I'm going, well, I can't deny what I got. So, whether it's March or May or whatever, I can't speak to that because I just don't get the timing. And Woo Dude's always telling me, pay attention to, like, was there snow on the ground, where the leaves falling, so I can get this idea, but I just right. Don't get it. Or I'm not maybe seeing it and paying attention. I'm not jabroni level, but I'm not Woo Dude yet. So, I got to work with what I get.
You're picking up some cool stuff because just last week, as I was preparing to record the, I think it was the Beyond Crypto Woo episode on our show, we were getting a lot of emails saying, "Oh my God, did you guys see JSNIP4? He just posted a dream on his Patreon." Let me bring that up for the audience, guys. You can find Joe here at patreon.com/JSNIP4. But there, Joe, you were talking about blood in the streets, basically in the markets, and you were thinking, hey, there was a possibility here of things going very, very low, and you were suggesting, perhaps again, not financial advice, that people might want to put some dry powder on the side here in case that happens. Profit is never a bad thing in this world. And what was just funny today, as we're preparing to launch this show, okay, I'm talking full-blown Game of Thrones red weddings here, so blood everywhere. The market was puking quite a bit today, of course, in reaction to this huge 50 basis point increase in the Fed rates there.
Well, hold on. Why would it dump when the very next day it was pumping? The day that it was announced, the market's pumping, crypto's pumped in a little bit, 5, 7, 8, 10%. And then the next, and someone's there, Joe, you think we should sell now? It's back up. I'm going, I got to go with my dreams. I got to make my moves. And, right. It's probably dead cat bounce. It's probably dead cat bounce. Sure enough, right. Down we went the next day. Yeah. And I'm going, well, here we go. It's just manipulation. Well,
let me bring Richard in here too, because a lot of other psychics were seeing this. And we had talked about this a couple of years ago, where we thought when this eventually all unravels, we might see every market, whether that's gold, silver, crypto, and the stock market, real estate, everything else, the bond market, all crash in tandem. And then we would see the new economy rise out of that, like the phoenix rising out of the flames. Now, what are you seeing in terms of timing right now, Richard? Are we getting close to that event now where we have this huge hiccup, turmoil? Some people call it a crash. Some people are hoping for a softer landing. What are you picking up here for the month of May, given now that finally everything seems to be coming to a head? Richard.
A softer landing. We better call the pillow guy up really quick. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, is that legal? Okay. All right. I got to do everything I can not to say something wrong.
Okay.
Are we there? It's 3 weeks ago. Last time Joe and I did a YouTube, I think 3 weeks ago. I told him within 3 weeks, Spirit told me that diesel would be attacked. Right? Yeah. And it has been. It's going to get a lot worse. Everything you see that's happening, the dominoes are falling really, really rapid. The thing that you're seeing in Ukraine, remember how I said Spirit kept saying May 8th, May 8th, May 8th. And then I looked at my calendar and I said, oh my God, that's Mother's Day. Right? I said, maybe that's my mother saying something to me. I feel very strongly that something is happening on May 8th, or damn close to it. And I really do believe it has something to do with the incursion with Russia. All right. And I believe it's going to take another jump. But, I've dubbed this summer the summer of change. People are going to be very, very shocked. And there's going to be a lot of twists and turns. And so having a little bit of everything that I've been saying for a long time to ride this wave is to have cash, cryptos, and precious metals. As one goes up, one comes down. And this is what it's going to be for us to get through it. But there's still a lot of devastation to happen here. And it's starting to occur really, really quick with the finances of everything. This is real. This is happening. There's nothing to stop this timeline. It's all right. So all of us just need to really, really adapt to this and to be very, very smart as we go forward here. We can get through this. Absolutely we can. But we've got to be very intelligent on the way that we handle certain things. It doesn't take much to read the writing on the wall to see. I was doing a reading yesterday, the day before yesterday, and an oil truck went by me. And on the back of these trucks, I don't know if they do it up where you are, JC, but they'll always have the price on the back. So that way they could, anybody else, oh, look, he's cheaper, let's get his. and it went by, and it was $6.50. And have an idea, I know it's going to double figures. It absolutely is. Now, here's a curveball for you. Why this is all happening, the summer of change, because of the turmoil that's happening with the incursion with Russia in this situation, there's going to be, how do I want to do this, say it the right way? Okay. What I've been getting is that there's going to be a, I got to be careful. I don't want to get you knocked off. Okay. There's going to be a situation that we're going to see during this summer, and I'm going to call it a transition. I'm going to call it transition team. How's that? Where who's in control of our armed forces? Please read into this, okay? I'm trying to be very careful here.
Yeah.
Things that Joe has been waiting for, and he feels it. Oh, does he feel it? And I know what he's feeling. This is going to happen. And there's going to be a lot of discourse, okay, when this happens, of who's in control. Because the people that are trying to push the button here, do we know what we're saying about the button? Okay. They're trying to do this to enact the system that they want to achieve. And they're pushing, you know how I have a lot of bears that run through my words up here? They've been pushing the bear further and further. And I really believe this May 8th thing, something's going to step up. And I believe as we progress into the summer that you're going to see the gnashing of teeth or the fighting between who's in charge in the United States with the armed services. And I'm going to tell you something. What I keep seeing is that's not going to be an easy thing. It's like certain people have certain people underneath them, and they seem to be controlling it, but then others are going to come up. So it's really going to be interesting. But my outlook is still incredibly positive. I have my cups always half full. It truly is. My concern is that people don't underestimate the cost of everything that's about to occur here and in Canada and across the world. This is going to be no joke.
Right. Let me ask you, Richard. Cliff last month, or maybe even 2 months ago, he was picking up in his data something on or around May 19th. And then he went in and got a little bit more granular detail, and he found May 9th as to a big event happening May 9th. Now,
Isn't that interesting?
Right. And then the other day, when this came out, he put out something on his Telegram saying, oh my God, I made a mistake. It wasn't May 9th. It was May 4th, this 50% basis point. That is the trigger that brings us into that huge emotional spike on or around the May 19th. And don't forget also the eclipse is on May 16th this month. So we're in that window of huge tower card moments if you're looking at the crypto point of the tarot card point of view. But at any rate, there's the 50 basis points here, the changeover maybe, or the death of a big bank. I had Jim Willie on just last week, and he's forecasting that perhaps this month here, we're going to see one of those major banks, those too big to fail banks, fall. His candidate is probably Bank of America here in North America, and he thought maybe Credit Suisse in Europe. So my question is, do you think, given what you're talking about here, and I'm putting imagery for the audience to kind of like weave through our narrative here, do you think that the banking system and this trigger leads into what's on the screen now, or is it vice versa? Is it a challenge to the control of our army that forces the other things to go kabooey here? What do you see as timing, or does it matter? Does it all happen at the same time? How do we navigate this, Richard?
Well, again, you said a few things here. How do we navigate it?
Yeah.
I think I've thoroughly said how to navigate it. When it comes to financial, it's really going to hit home.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's going to hit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see Europe getting whacked before we do. And I, many months ago, I said something to Joe. I said what I saw was a wave that's coming from Europe and coming to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have maybe a 3-week difference. Okay. Now, I believe the deals have already been done when it comes to certain banks closing down. They know who they are. Yeah. Okay. And they're all in the same boat. It's like it's time for you to leave because now we got to go in this direction. And I really believe that's what's happening. And 50 basis points, I honestly don't give a rat's ass. It really doesn't matter. It's all happening together. Every country's being destroyed financially to bring in this new system here, and everybody's going to be kicking and screaming, trying to get their way on this. And really, JC, the only way to navigate this as the little people that we are is to have a little bit of everything and don't have all your eggs in one basket. And actually, something that Joe had said when he went live the other night, and I said that's brilliant. Is if you took, if I say this wrong, Joe, say something. But if I took it right, he said if you took 10% off the top of everything you have in cryptos, just 10%. And just put it off to the side. I don't care if the run starts happening up. Don't be pissed off about it, because I say what you just did was lick your ice cream a little early. That's okay. Yeah. Leave it there. And if it drops down a little bit more, then you can grab a little bit more. All right. But there's no doubt in my mind that I keep getting an incredible rise in cryptos. And they're here to stay. All right. But again, same with the digital dollar. That will definitely come out this summer. I saw it.
Let me have Joe chime in here on what you just said, Richard, about the 50 basis point. In a way, it's a nothing burger compared to what we saw in the 80s with Paul Volcker to try to tame inflation. And to that, let me bring up a correspondence that Joe and I were privy to. Joe, do you want to start with the bottom here, Cliff's first email, and then we'll read Bix's response, and then we'll start that conversation about really in earnest what we understand is about to happen and how some of this might just be another distraction, just like all the other distraction right now, pulling our attention away to what really, really matters. So if you want to start here, Joe, let's start here.
Yeah, so a subject, rates, Fed just raised 0.5 point, meaning 0.5 percentage point, largest up in 22 years. Last that was close to this was just prior to the 2008 crash. Just months ago, the 0.25 point raise at the Fed caused a 3 to 4 point, in other words, percentage points in mortgage rates. So banks now expecting to go to 8+% on a mortgage rate is what he's saying, based off of that, just that 0.5% move. And, they were just at 3, 4, 5, 5's here, now 6 is, now the half is there, this is going to be 6 easily. And like he's saying, it's going to be 8. And so if you want to scroll up and we'll.
Okay. And just before we read Bix's answer there too, here in Canada, and I know in some other markets, the real estate has been absolutely crazy, overvaluations, people paying $250,000 over asking price and, overextending themselves here in this crazy market. I know for a fact that these people who are locked in at 2.5%, 3%, even 4 or 5%, they can no longer make the mortgage payment, let alone the 8% that this is signaling here, and let alone the fact that this is the first of perhaps many of these rate increases. So there's a problem there to look at.
And adjustable rate mortgages still exist.
Right.
So when the Fed jumps, the mortgage rate jumps, and sorry about your luck, you owe us $300-$400 more a month in your mortgage. Thank you.
Right. And if you can't pay, you have 30 days and we're foreclosing, and then we'll give your house to BlackRock or whoever is in line to get it. I'm laughing, but it's no funny matter. But at the same point, we've been lulled into thinking that 0% interest rate was going to last forever, and a lot of people who are in the markets now with the real estate haven't seen these huge gyrations like some people have seen in the 80s, and they're not expecting this. So there's going to be turmoil there, as Wu Dud was saying. Now let's look at Bix's take on this too, because it's very interesting. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so it says crazy crap. When inflation hit 10% in 1979, Volcker had to raise rates to 15%, then 20% to try and tame the beast. It took 3 years. Nobody's trying to tame the beast now. Next inflation post is on May 11th. Anything over 9% is the end game, if you ask me. Crash the banks and then fresh start, or start fresh.
So that's interesting. May 9th. Now, you were talking about May 8th, Richard. Now, this is the next morning here, perhaps as a repercussion, another domino falling. How do you see this tying in here in this conversation? And why perhaps, yes, in some conversation that 50 basis points is not the big problem we're looking at, but it's all the other unintended consequences. What do you see how this
Okay, so what I was being shown before is this was all a trap. For the little people, that they were going to create euphoria with people of buying properties. And I warned Joe about that. I said, get yours paid off. I said, don't screw with this. Don't get involved in this. And that this was a trap to get all the prices of the homes up as high as they possibly could. All right. And then why these people bought at the top of the market, they were going to crash it, okay, with high interest rates. And then this is the killer. Then people are going to be trapped. They're going to try to refinance their house. They're going to say, well, wait a minute, we got to revalue your house to see what it's worth now. And they're going to realize that they just lost 45% of the value of the house. They're going to say, well, no, you don't have enough in it. And so they're going to lose their damn houses. Okay, this is all part of the trap of what I kept seeing. And it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's going to happen really, really fast. And then let's throw on, people that live up where I do in the cold area, and you need to go fill your oil tanks of propane, and to fill it, it's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000. Never mind, you can't pay your house. Oh, well, we're going to have to take your house. We're going to have to do this. You see how this is all compiling.
Right.
And the thing is they're trying to stop the gold standard from happening and this thing that's going on with Russia. Okay. But when I said I saw an earthquake that separated it east from west, and then the next day he did what he did, there's nothing stopping this. This is going to happen. The biggest thing now is with everything, it's going to be, a rough summer, but a really rough winter.
But you also said last year, especially, Joe, when this stuff starts going, it's going to be dominoes.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be like, oh, it's just this one subject matter. It's going to be this problem. We're going to have that problem. We're going to have this other problem. There's going to be this other thing. And they're going to kind of converge at generally the same time. And this is exactly what we're seeing. We've got the food problems going on.
Yeah.
We've got the Fed raising rates out of control right now. We've got extremely high gas prices. The housing market's at the all-time high.
Yeah.
It's just literally one thing after another, all around the same time. And
You're absolutely right. And let me bring this in. We just recorded this yesterday, I believe it was. It's available now for the Insider Access Pass members, and I believe pay-per-view tomorrow. But we were talking about these earth changes. I'm going to ask you on that as well, some of the prophecies, some of the Edgar Casey stuff, but how also now the real estate issue that we're facing now and that the boys are describing here might force the reality of some of these old WebBot data reports that we're talking about this huge, massive diaspora where people were going to be displaced. So if you haven't seen this episode, please do go and check it out. So let me ask you there, Richard, you had talked about this idea of maybe some asteroids. We talked about some flooding. We talked about some fires. All of this, by the way, is all in the astrology for this month right now. There's a huge expansion, and I can bring up that slide here to show what we were talking about in this show. But it appears very much now also that the astrological alignments are supporting these types of events happening now, starting here in May and maybe into June here. What do you see, going back to this idea of diaspora? There's the whole issue we cannot talk about, just to put a parentheses here, about the situation on the planet and how that might leave a lot of orphans and the social structure changing. We're going to leave that aside for now, but let's tie this into the earth changes itself and some of these real estate issues with the interest rates and how that could create that huge diaspora that we were talking about a few years ago.
And I believe Cliff is on the money. Okay. I just believe his timeline's off. Right. All right. And we're upon it now. And you could go back a year and a half when Joe and I would talk about what Spirit had shown me. And I had sent them photos of some of the stuff of the crossing of the planets. Mm-hmm. And I said, this is going to get worse. I said, when summer comes, people will talk about the human residence that was going to spike. Well, it's happening. Mm-hmm. Okay. All this is occurring. And I know we have abilities for weather warfare, but you're seeing things that are not weather warfare. All right. And these things are going to get greater. Diaspora, absolutely. Absolutely. This is going to be happening. And it's not per se just on the shore. It's got to be inland, where storms are just going to pop out of nowhere. And yep, we'll see hail. The size of, balls here, that it will cause a lot of damage. And this is going to be really serious. And I believe this will happen for at least the next few years, until the crossing of the planets are over, however long that's going to take. But on the other hand, humanity is incredible at adapting to things. And I really believe we will learn how to adapt to this. And at the same time, technologies will be released to help humanity to get through these things that are not being created by humankind, but by this crossing of the planet scenario. So we're going to be dealing with all the dominoes are falling all at the same time. I want everybody to pay attention to, they've been all over me to pay attention to like the end of August, but rolling into September, October. I don't know what it is. They haven't given it to me. So I'm not going to sit here and say, it's the most horrible thing in the world. Okay. It could be the greatest thing in the world, but whatever it is, it's huge. Okay. And we all, as we get to this and go through these things, I'm not sure what that is, but that comes up, those date times come up to a lot of different things that are happening, like elections and things like that. Right. But I think those dates is going to be, because I keep telling me it's going to be a ripple that goes around the world. Kind of like what Putin did. A ripple that went around the world, the gold standard. Yeah, so whatever this thing is, it's big.
Let's get into that next. I just wanted to share this with the audience members. This is one of the slides here in that last episode about the earth changes. So you're going to see here the earthquakes, perhaps also the flooding, and also moving into the fire with this last Jupiter in Aries conjunction coming up. So that's very interesting. Just take a snapshot of that. You can go and read that later. But as we were talking about the gold standards, let me bring this back up here. One of the interesting things that kept coming up in the Webbot data was that perhaps China was eventually going to lead the return to this gold-backed standard, yet a lot of analysts were suggesting that China didn't actually want that role. So now we see perhaps this unfolding in a different way. Perhaps with the theater of war that we have now and we can talk about, we saw Russia introduce that idea and that first pied-à-terre, or that first beachhead here into this gold back standard, and now maybe working in collusion to eventually help China get to where they want it to be. Where they want it to be, again, here, some analysts, also some future forecasting, also some remote viewers, saw that one of the original benchmark to help China out of some of its liquidity problems, and we've talked about on this show before, Evergrande, was that China would need somewhere around $10,000 per ounce gold to start to find an equilibrium here in their markets. Now we're seeing here, and it's reporting in Zero Hedge, that perhaps there is that collusion or that partnership happening here just below our feet. Now, Joe, let me get you on this also. we've seen this for a long time coming. We've been explaining this for a long time, and now it's actually finally here. Even though the mainstream media is not talking about the fact that there is a de facto gold standard in effect right now, and countries are, even though they were de-dollarizing for the last number of years, now they're accelerating this. So the whole momentum of what Richard was talking about, the convergences of convergences and these domino effects are happening very, very quickly. So what do you make of maybe the next couple of months here on how that affects our Federal Reserve, the capitulation that is to come here at some point when the rubber meets the road and people have the choice between, do I want an old fiat system or do I want something real in return for my blood, sweat, and tears? Joe?
Yeah, I think the dollar will, honestly, I think it's going to outlast all the other currencies to start with. Like they'll all start failing and having problems, but the dollar will be the last one to fall.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be all on purpose. But I want to go back to the adjustable rate mortgages for a second.
Yeah.
I just was looking for some data while we were talking. In December 2018, 9.2% of all new mortgage loans had an adjustable rate, up from 8.9% in November, and far above the 5.6% of mortgages that were ARMs in December 2017. So that's one thing. Then there's this other issue. Average contract interest rate for 30-year fixed mortgage rate, conforming loan balance was increased 5. The adjustable rate mortgage share of applications last week, and this is from April of this year, April 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So this is real recent. The adjustable rate mortgage share of applications last week was over 9% by loan count, but over 17% based on dollar volume.
Oh my God!
So they're saying at 9%, the adjustable rate share, mortgage share, was double what it was just 3 months ago. So again, everybody's being cold into this whole, and I talked about my friend. He's like, hey, I want to buy some land with a house. Everything's crazy in Florida. I don't want to wait. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, man, we're at the top. I go, but I'll see if I can get a dream. I got a dream immediately that night. Boom, got it loud and clear, dude. They're saying no. We're at the top. Don't do it. Too expensive. He ended up putting a bid on a house. He got the bid. Okay, so he's moving in. But he had told me, and I don't know if he got an adjustable rate mortgage, but he's like, oh, because of some reason or another, they gave me a real high interest rate. It was like 6-point-something%. This is like 2 months ago. So I'm going, how the hell do you get a 6? How do you, if it's not an adjustable rate, and even then it should have been lower. So I don't know what the hell the deal was.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I'm going to refinance. Don't worry, it's a little too high for us, but I'm going to refinance in a few months from now. And then when he said that, something was just telling me like, I don't know.
Not if the bank doesn't want you to play the game anymore.
Right. If housing already starts crashing from that time,
yeah,
they're gonna be we can't value the house at which you want to refinance at.
Yeah.
We can't pay. We're not gonna let you refinance a house that's 20% over value right now. Sorry, you're stuck with that rate.
And what was it Cliff was saying just a couple of weeks ago, Joe, in Telegram? He was saying that locally, I believe where he is, some of the bankers were running these algorithms and realizing that a big percentage of their mortgage holders were now underwater. Now, they weren't necessarily late on their mortgage payments because they were using the stopgap of their credit cards and all that, but we were setting up for a crisis like we did in 07. So we were almost at those numbers now, and actually higher, I think, than what was causing the 07, 08 mortgage-backed security boondoggle. So it appears that the stats are already there now as well. Like everything is lining up. Back to life batteries. JC has been calling for T's return for 2 years now. I've never called for his return. I've called for honest and integral elections. That I've called for. So, don't put words in my mouth there, buddy. Joe, so let's go back to this gold back standard. Do you think...
Hold on. I got to refill this and blow my nose.
Okay. Let me ask Richard then while you're doing that. So,
what a way to get out of it, Joe.
Right. So, Joe, Richard, let me ask you then, do you see silver leading the way? Do you see gold leading the way? We've seen the LME freak out on the nickel market in a couple of weeks now, where rubber is hitting the road. They've halted up many times here. Are we about to see a force majeure maybe on the COMEX or the LBMA? We've talked about this for a long time. They always seem to kick the can down the road and come up with these exchange for physicals, all of these other shenanigans. Yeah. But are we there now, seeing as we actually have an arbitrage opportunity right now that didn't exist before? And so far, we haven't seen the West countermand this gold back standard. They're pretty much impotent to it right now. Richard.
Yeah, and again, they're trying to put their cards down one at a time and control the situation. What I keep getting is that when we really start to jump in silver and precious metals, it seems to me that I keep getting like the end of August, going into September, and going on. All right. Now, when you talk about the gold standard, when I had brought that up on that vision I had of the separation, it wasn't just a gold standard. Okay. It was gold and commodity. Okay. And the reason that Spirit was showing me this is that there's many countries, small countries, some bigger, that don't have gold. They don't have it, but they got commodities that the world's going to need, like foods and things like this. Right. So I saw like an equilibrium where, someplace it might be diamonds. Okay. It might be gold, but it is going to be backed by something of value. And so it's not just gold and silver. All right. It's definitely commodities too. And we'll see that'll come out. And that's to make an equal playing field, which the world needs. It really does.
Okay. Let's switch gears here into the battle, I guess, in the world of censorship. I'm just choosing my words here a little bit. Because this is the battle, of course. We just there's tectonic plates moving just below our feet. We were talking about this for a while. Joe, between you and I and Cliff, I believe the other day, he's of the opinion, and this is an opinion right now, we're having an open conversation, we're trying to figure shit out here. He's of the opinion that Elon is working as a disruptor to that old paradigm of censorship, and that part of this move may eventually lead into a collaboration or reinforcement of Truth Social. Now, in order for all of these changes to happen and for humanity to come out on the other side bigger, better, and stronger, we obviously need to quash the censorship. We need to be able to actually say the things we need to say and inform the public of what the hell is the nature of our reality. So, Joe, let me ask you first here. What's your take on this takeover? Where is he going? A lot of people said, oh, that guy's a cabal member. It's just me, the new boss, same as the old boss. What's your take on this? And then I'll ask Richard also.
Yeah, no, I think again, it's like the old hashtag winning.
Right.
How is this stuff happening to the deep state players? I mean, the people at Twitter weren't pretend flipping out. The employees, they weren't pretend flipping out. They got their accounts locked down, their administrative rights, while this was taking place because they were in fear. The higher ups were in fear that they would just flip out, start banning people and quit or something, on their way out. So they locked them down to where they couldn't do it. That lady, yeah, her $17 million, a year salary, Miss Queen Censorship, but she had a lot to do with the blocking of the Hunter Biden laptop. Well, why did you block that? It's just information, and it's very important information. She was one of the main people that was behind that. So
yeah, but it was targeted bullying. It was to protect the small people.
Bullying poor Hunter,
Yeah.
But so she could go away. The salary could change, and like you said, we're going to be modifying almost everybody's like at the top salary. He already said that. I don't think it's meet the new boss same as the old boss. I don't think so. Whether they're going to work with Truth Social or I can't answer that. I really don't even know. But I don't think this is just some little charade or something. There's meat to this, know. And again, it's like, okay, another win for the good guys. Another win for the good guys. All of the Republicans candidates for the primaries that Trump said, you should, this is my pick for you guys. Like, pick this guy.
Yeah.
They all got picked. And it was a whole bunch of them. Over a dozen, I think. And they all got it. Every one of them won the primary. It's like against other Republicans. So that's not supposed to happen, but it did.
Yeah.
And now the show's coming out with the 2,000 mules and stuff. And okay, and I think you're going to see, again, perfectly timed stuff. Durham, he's filing his report here. He's making a little thing here with the court. Okay. Yeah, they tried to block that. Oh, he got his way up. He accidentally leaked something. That was cool to see. Again, this is, you're seeing a shit show. And or have food problems coming again. And I was just, like I said, my dreams. and I've came across one. I go, oh, 2 out of 3 items. I felt like I was in Walmart, even though we don't really shop for food at Walmart, by the way. But we have Publix here; it's a great grocery store. But I wrote it. I think I'm in Walmart. 2 out of 3 items were not in stock, and I know one item was organic milk was just no longer with us. I think it was just gone. Yeah. And I wrote, I think the other thing was this, and I forget what the third thing was that was in stock or whatever. So it wasn't that 2 out of every. Well, let me back up. Maybe Spirit is showing me 2 out of 3 things could be gone in the grocery store, or they were showing me 2 out of these specific 3 things, and one of them was an important thing, milk, even though it was organic milk. It was gonna start making the news, and of course we're already seeing some shortages and empty shelves in places, and so. Anyways, I'm not sure why I just
going back to censorship here, I just wanted to show that with the audience here. Yes, he's making a lot of headway in the last couple of weeks. We're seeing the other team right now put one motion after another to try to not fulfill the subpoena request or the sharing of evidence, procedural requests, and all that. But I think he's just trapping them. And again, this whole move about having at least one social media that's telling us the truth right now is absolutely going to be a game changer for a lot of those people who are still sleeping. So that's the Durham stuff. But let's go back to Richard on this. Let me ask you to chime in. Here we're seeing the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting, of course, the liberal censorship machine. And Elon there with his free speech bucket here, cleaning the show up. What's your take on where Elon Musk's allegiances or future desires are for Twitter?
All right. So I'm just going to go out there a little, but we're all woo anyways. There's quite a few different factions of, I'm going to call them beings, that are working with individuals. And without a doubt, Elon is one of them. All right. And you got beings that really want to keep control of
let me stop you because people are going to misinterpret that. He's not saying Elon is one of the beings. Elon is being worked with
right
some group. Okay.
All right. So like Joe has been saying, if they have so much great control of, why are they all melting down? Because they're losing control of it. We are winning the fight, but they're not just going to roll over. All right. Now, I'm going to say this. All right. Let me think for a moment on how to do this. I know.
While do you think, Richard? Somebody on the screen is asking, hey, where can I find Richard? Well, funny you should ask that. You can find him at woowoodude.com. So thank you, Luciana, for giving us the break here for Richard to collect his thoughts and to avoid the censorship machine. Okay, Richard, back to you, man.
So all these things that are coming out, like what you said, 2,000 mules, and these things, what I keep getting is that all these things are coalescing together that are also going to contribute to, remember how I said earlier in the show, a division with our armed forces, and to take down some of the people that are really at the top there. So that way the buttons don't get pushed. And we're getting so close to that point right now, but it's all interconnected. And you know how we all go out there and we go so above, so below. And so I want to put it into another way, that a lot of people say, well, Trump's playing 5D chess. And I laugh. I go, like hell he is. I says, we're the chess pieces. They're moving the board and we're on it. So you've got some very big beings, entities, that some really love us and some really don't. And we, the humans, are being moved on this incredible chessboard, all right, and counter moves going back and forth. And that's what you're seeing played out now. And without a doubt, listen, you've got to realize we're winning. I mean, take a look. When you see these people going, oh, no, you got to be going, yeah, baby. How's it feel?
Exactly.
So I'm very, like I said, I'm very optimistic. I know it's going to get tough, but I live out in the woods. Okay, it's tough everywhere. Tough. It's okay.
Let me bring up something here we mentioned earlier, and another example of us winning and things not being the same as they usually are. So we talked about Elon Musk moving Twitter, but we're also seeing parts of the bad people. I don't want to say some of the bad words here, but some of the club members actually on mainstream news admitting that the gold is being manipulated. I mean, I fell when I saw this guy, Justra, talk about that on the news the other day. So again, we have to be close to this whatever capitulation changeover for some of these big guys to feel safe enough to actually say that on mainstream news. Now, because most of the guys that talk about this stuff, they're never invited on mainstream news. You won't see Bill Holter, Jim Sinclair. No. You won't see those guys on mainstream news because they don't want to hear what they have to say. But when the club members are saying it, it has to tell you we're pretty close to that now. Guys, just a quick note here to support the show. These are the discount codes available to the Beyond Mystic audience here, offered by Miles Franklin. You can find that at beyondmystic.net/silver. Quite a few new coins here and bars available to you guys at amazing prices here. So check that out. And if you're on the Canadian side of the border, also, you can find the same discount codes here from mfbullion.ca. Here we have the Pam Swiss 10-ounce bars at $5.99 Canadian over spot. Joe, let's switch gears and get into crypto. I just brought this up earlier. I thought, that's cool. Our cousin friends here are acting up and they're circumventing U.S. sanctions here using crypto. We just saw Goldman Sachs introduce the first crypto-backed loans. Of course, this is going mainstream faster and faster and faster. You and I have been talking about this for a long time. We even put out a course out there to help people understand and get started into the crypto world. You guys can check that out here. Joe, how close are we to this panic to own? We're seeing the banks now admit that cryptos are getting close to being actual currency, and they weren't talking about CBDCs last week. They were talking about the other stuff. We're seeing people around the world now go against the sanctions and get into crypto. How close are we, Joe, to this panic to own moment that was forecasted in the web?
I mean, the thing is, not too long ago, Cliff High's data had some key things that we've been waiting forever.
Yeah.
To show up. You're thinking, it's just a missed WebBot report. It's from a few years ago. It's done. And then all of a sudden, 2020 comes around. Holy crap! His WebBot might be on something. 2021. Okay, his WebBot, the old data is onto something.
Yeah.
And then all these markers started filling, last year and this year now, for the panic to own both metals and crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm just thinking, if you're the deep state and then you don't want the people getting in on this. The average person, us, we've already done it. But the rest of the people that's still under the blinders, still have their blinders on, that's the majority of people. So if you want to get them away from that, all of a sudden there's a spike into that, and you want to get them away from it, we'll crash the price on them.
Yeah.
Silver, oh my God, I hit $50 again, $50, 2008 or whatever that was, or 11, whatever the hell day was that, 11, 10?
Yeah.
I don't remember the year now. And then they pulled the rug out and wiped everybody out. And then everyone's like, okay, I'm not doing that again. And then they just pushed them away. So that's why I think, again, maybe this gigantic crash of everything may happen. And it'll be their tactic to try to scare people out of it. And maybe in reality, everyone's going, I already figured this out too much. I'm buying now.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned the game from watching all these people online or whatever. I'm buying. And all of a sudden, everyone starts buying in and the damn thing rockets up. Both of them.
Let's add another piece. You brought it sort of the WebBot data reports. Again, I'm going to paraphrase here, but Cliff was of the opinion that some of the manipulation in our crypto markets had to do with some of the Bitcoins that had been illegally gotten. So whether that was the Mt. Gox exchange, whether those were the malware kind of ransomware type of things we've seen over the last years, and that they were actually using those ill-gotten Bitcoins to sell en masse to create these waterfall events. And he was suggesting that based on the blockchain and some of the people analyzing this very carefully, that they might be running out of dry powder to do that manipulation. Are we seeing here, Joe, at $35,000 or $36,000 Bitcoin today, an inkling of perhaps the last opportunity for them to crash these prices using those mechanisms of the ill-gotten cryptos? What do you think?
Well, if you just scroll down slowly, and just look at the red, the lines, how they're very similar.
Yeah.
They're not identical, but they're very similar. And I used to do this. I'd go to, this is the top 100.
Yeah.
I'd go to page 2, page 3, page 4. Coins that no one's even heard of, coins that no one really has. No one's even messed with these things. You're way down the list. And of course, there's even dozens more pages. And you'll look and go, man, they kind of have that same general movement.
Yeah.
So it can't just, in my opinion, it can't just be Bitcoin selling into this to drop the market. Now, sure, it can, and then all the others follow, whatever. But if you're the owners of Tether, and do you still have that up?
Yeah, let me bring it up. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so just scroll up. It's going to be near the top. Tether's up there. One of the top 5 or 10 coins, I think. Tether should be somewhere in there. Rather USDT.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to look at, scroll down maybe, how many Tether in existence. Maybe go back to the first page, because I think it'll tell you there.
Okay, hold on.
And just look off to the right. So there's
right
20. There's not, was that 83? Yeah. So when I was just talking about this the other day, which was a few months ago, I think it was in the 60s billion.
Yeah.
We were crying foul, I think, when they had $2 billion of Tether. Hey, where are you guys getting the $2 billion? You got $1 for each of those in the bank somewhere?
Right.
Yeah, we got it. They got busted. No, we didn't. They got busted. The Southern District of New York, which is a club member, they look out for the club. They fined them some stupid fine for not having the money at the time they said they did. That proved the point, but nothing happened. Continue on as usual.
Yeah.
They now have 83 billion. It was just 60. That is who is manipulating the market. And as many have said, psychics and everything, one day it's going to implode. And when it implodes, because it is the market maker, it's going to destroy the crypto market temporarily.
Right.
Things will recover and then go back up. Unmanipulated, or at least way less manipulated, because they won't have that thing. They literally have Tether is the Federal Reserve Bank, so to speak.
Right.
It doesn't need Congress's approval or anything to print the money, or give us a bond and we'll print 10 billion, give us 10 billion in bonds, we'll put them on the market.
Right.
They just go, oh, it's in the code. Our crypto is not one of these cryptos that has a fixed amount like most do.
Right.
We can just add to it. It's a smart contract that we developed, so we'll just add another 80. We got 80 billion. Oh, looks like we're going to need 90 billion now because more people are getting into the game. The more people that get into the game, the more they have to create, and then of course somehow it funnels to all the accounts that have that. And I guarantee you, if the day comes when they figure out who is the one in charge of all of the tons of different accounts to all the different exchanges with enormous amounts of different cryptos. Again, they have, like I said, go to page 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
And you'll see the same charts. It's like, it's really everybody selling the shit coin on page 5 that nobody in the world would ever buy. But if you have to control the market, you have to control everything in the market. And they got $80 billion through $83 billion right now to do it. So that is the manipulators. That's who's doing this. But again, they could flip the switch now and go, oh, it's time to rally 20%. And then it rallies. But again, if they have a plan, then we're going to take gold down, we're going to take crypto down, we're going to do this all in conjunction with the dollar. That country's dollar is going to die. We'll save America for last. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have this big plan. And then things will get let loose. Maybe Tether implodes at the very end. Just like maybe all these paper contracts will implode. As you've heard, the LME, London Metals Exchange, is quitting.
Yeah.
This damn company has been in existence since like 1889 or some shit.
They're stopping the futures contract, I believe, in July.
For metals, specifically.
Yeah. Gold and silver.
Well, we didn't have enough activity between the big bankers, so we're just
walking away.
Over 100 years. Are you kidding me? So maybe it goes out in a blaze of glory. All the paper contracts, they crumble. They short the market one last time. They make a fortune on the way down. Then they go buy the real thing with the fortune they just made at the cheap prices. And then let the government sort everything out. Okay, we're going to back ours by gold. We're going to back your dollar by gold. Okay, gold has to be revalued in order for this to make sense. Okay. And then they're filthy rich as they always were. But again, rather than get upset and go, damn these assholes. If you know, or think you know even, and you want to take a chance, do as they do. When in Rome, do as the Romans.
Exactly. Joe, let me ask
that's
you a
what
question.
I say.
And maybe, Richard, you can chime in on this too. You just mentioned this crypto crash in value and then eventually would go back up. Is there the possibility also that the numbers, as we think about it, crash to smaller numbers, not necessarily because the crypto market crashed, but what we value it again crashes. Cliff was of the opinion that perhaps at some point we're no longer going to match Bitcoin to USD, the Federal Reserve note, but that we would go back to a new treasury dollar. And in that sense, Bitcoin would be worth less because that dollar would be so much stronger than the Federal Reserve note. Let me start with Richard. Where were you in some of these insights of spirits on this creation of a new treasury note, a new greenback, whatever you want to call it? Where's that in the timeline? Does it fit with the convergences that we're seeing now?
Yeah, I have to say something though. Where, yeah, everybody's looking for the panic to own, right? Hey, what the hell do you think is going on right now? It is the panic to own right now. Why do you think it's being knocked down? Do you remember going way back when I said the playground in Ukraine is where everybody washed what they did?
Yeah.
And when I was in the hospital, didn't I tell you that they were going to bring it down and they were going to try to hold it down for their buddies as long as they possibly can until they go, hey, you're on your own. I can't do it anymore. Right. So the vision of what Cliff was tapping into is 100% right, but people aren't looking at it in the right way. Who the hell is panicking to own right now? Let's think about this.
Yeah.
Those deep staters over there.
Bingo. Because they need to move their money into something else. Let's be realistic. We have whole countries. Another one just did it in Africa. Well, Bitcoin's our currency now. So you have whole countries buying it, but yet it's going down. It's a panic to own. That's what's happening. And that's why, I tell people, I'm sitting fine because I know where this is going. Okay. And the panic to own is happening by the big boys. Why are you seeing it on TV all the time? Oh, by the way,
At a gas station, I heard it talking to me as I'm pumping gas.
Yeah. Oh, and that's true. If you heard it at a gas pump, that's real news.
So check this out. So yes, the bad people who are losing their funneling system of these trafficking monies, let's just call it that right now, they're trying to convert a lot of their assets into crypto. But some of the small people are waking up to this too. And here in Ukraine, the government just banned people from purchasing Bitcoin using their national currency because here they're saying, well, that's an unproductive capital outflow, right? Just like here in Canada, when our government overreached with the seizing of bank accounts of the old granny who gave $5 to the freedom fighters, a lot of those old people said, oh yeah, my money's not safe here. We're going to do some capital outflows. And it freaked out the government. That's who's panicking right now to what Richards is saying. Absolutely right.
Yeah. And what you're going to see is as they implode over there, the people that are living there, they're not going to get access to their money because the powers to be that are panicking are going to put everything they can into purchasing Bitcoin and other cryptos because they're going to run. There's nothing that's going to stop this.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing. All right. So all this is the stupid little turmoil that does this right now. You need to mellow the hell out and then start realizing, how is this possible when you have whole countries switching over to a currency of Bitcoin, but yet it drops? All right. This is for all those other people to grab whatever they can, because guess what? They're going to have no place to launder their money anymore. Oh, shit. What are we going to do? That's sheer panic. See, everybody else is looking at the web bot going, well, it's a panic to own by every. No. Okay. It's the big boys. And they control all the money.
And all the billions we're sending them in the name of aid, of course.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. Exactly. Perfect slush fund to buy when Bitcoin just crashed $5,000 today. Wouldn't you say, Joe? I'd love to have some friends who send me a few $1 billion of aid when I needed to buy crypto.
Oh, you need a new JSNIP? I'm going to lower it 50% for you. Buy it, and then we'll let it go up later.
That's
Hey,
right.
Joe, we're almost at the end of the hour show here. I know there's a lot of new viewers coming up. We just saw CNN Plus crash within the first week of launching. Nobody wants to listen to those guys
Epic.
anymore. People are searching for this news, and some people are really new to this information, Joe, and they're struggling a little bit to follow this conversation. I'm reading some of the comments. My hearts are with you. We're doing our best to be large in our definitions and to go back to some of these older conversations so you guys have the context. But, Joe, for the people who are thinking about this and realizing, oh, maybe I should get into this before it's too late and at least educate myself, tell them what's in this course and why perhaps it's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, again, we call it the Panic to Own course. And, we were kind of throwing it around. Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. We got people asking us, specific stuff. And then, I should probably put a little how-to. But then Cliff High's like, the data, we're looking at his data again. I'm looking back at some of the reports. And I'm going, we need to get on this shit right away. Like, we didn't know if it was going to be next week. Like, holy shit, this panic could happen any day. We need to have something together because people are going to blow our email boxes up like crazy when it really goes crazy. Yeah. We can't deal with it. So it's like, hey, just go to the course. It's right there. And so in the course, we go over all of the stuff for, basic. Well, what is it? How do I get a crypto? Where do I go to get my first purchase? What do I do with it when I get it? Do I hold it? Do I leave it on the exchange? Do I put it on my own wallet? How do I sell it? How do I get rid of it? What if I want to use a different exchange? How do I do that? Mm-hmm. And we go over all that stuff. We go over all that stuff in that. So again, if you're a newbie, we put that together for you guys, and there's a lot in there for you, and I pretty much go over everything you need to know as a beginner, and a little bit more advanced in like some of the exchange trades I show in there. But
well, we've added the security update for people who are a little bit more advanced, and also the wallet updates for people who wanted to maybe move stuff into cold storage. But if you're just starting now, again, that Panic to Own is where to start. You'll understand how to create your exchange account, how to do that safely, how to have your two-factor authentication set up, how to set up your first wallet, how to do that safely, how to save your key phrases and all that stuff, and make your first purchase and move it away from the exchange and into your wallet. Explain that very quickly, Joe, why that's so important right now, specifically in the context of what we're looking at, why leaving your coins on exchange is not a good idea right now.
It's just like the old saying of, the gold and silver holders, if you don't hold it, meaning in your possession or at your house or somewhere you can physically go grab it, you don't own it. You get but I got a warehouse receipt. This thing is secured. They got insurance, the JP Morgan's buddy, and then the day comes, you want to go get that silver or gold, and everyone's panicking, and you realize they lent it out behind your back, without telling you, and now it's gone, and they're just gonna, we'll just pay you what it's worth, what it was worth at the time. Maybe not even pay you what it's worth today. And then you got to fight them, lawsuit. Well, they went bankrupt. Now what? So same thing applies with crypto. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. Now, again, at the same time, places like Coinbase, it's an American exchange, it's one of the biggest ones out there. They have insurance. But so do the gold companies, but I haven't gotten anything that really led me to believe, or dreams or anything that was like, hey, like some of those will be, or at least Coinbase or something is going to go down. I haven't gotten any intel on that, any downloads, but again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So my stuff's in my possession,
right?
My own wallets.
Yeah. Very good. Hey, Richard, before we go, we've tackled this before. Let's look at the timeline we're sitting on now, the convergences of convergences. Simone is asking, when do we see this $600 silver that was forecast way back when in a way about data reports? How close are we to this manifesting?
I really believe that I keep getting that the real jumps will start happening as we get it towards the end of August. But I do want to say this. Actually, there's a couple of things I want to say.
Okay.
Is what I kept getting is you're going to see silver climbing and people are going to get excited. All right. And I keep seeing like silver hitting $40 and here we go. Boom, 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 boom. And then I see it get knocked back a little. Don't freaking panic on that. That's their last ditch efforts to get you silver before it starts to climb.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to cheer all you, and you need this too, JC.
I always need a good cheering, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay.
I'll give you a good cheering.
When CNN got, what do you call that? When nobody gives them money demonetized?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
They only lasted 30 days. I guess they probably weren't honest about the shit they were saying, and somebody pulled the plug on them, huh?
Yeah.
So look at the bright side. Okay, it is happening, and it's these little wins that are actually big wins. Okay, and when you see somebody like that who just controls everything, and their asses get shut down in 30 days, oh, how's that feel?
Burn. Hey, J9
bastards.
Right. J9 is asking, JC, please provide the link of the video. Okay, so let me bring this back into the live chat now, guys. And what I'll do as soon as we finish airing the show, Joe and I will pin the link to the top of the comment section below the video, so you guys can just click on it live and go to, or you can just go to beyondmystic.net/pay-per-view, and then you'll see there the whole library. And you might be interested in these astral woo shows as well. We get into basically the 12 zodiac signs and how each of those zodiacs and their alignments will basically have an impact on you specifically during the month ahead. So these are really cool. If you haven't seen those as well, please do go and check that out. Joe, in the meantime, as people are getting into crypto and they want to have a leg up and maybe they want to do a little bit of trading, they're a little bit more advanced, what do you have for them here at patreon.com/JSNIP4?
Yep, so we got the main plan in the middle, is $20 US a month. The plan on the right, the elite, is $40 a month for people who want to reach out to me, private message me, ask me questions, things like that. I'm not going to like really seriously hold your hand and walk you through something for an hour. I mean, I'll just, you get a guaranteed response from me, and I'll help you best I can with more technical stuff or portfolio review or something. But mainly the middle one, it's my crypto woo. I get something from Spirit, my own download at night or whatever dream. Oh my God, it's like the crash of crypto and metals and the prices they gave me. I post it right on there for people to hear it. If woo dude calls me, Joe, they just, the old horse out of the blue, they told me to tell you at 3 o'clock today. All right, 3 o'clock comes, damn thing's up 38%. Like any information I get, I post it there.
And Joe, what's interesting about you too, I've been following you since forever on this, but you actually have your skin in the game. When you say stuff, you have balls of steel, man. And recently on one of those last calls in the fall, you bought a helicopter with all this stuff. So this is real, guys. But again, danger beware, everyone. Like in any investment, don't put all your eggs in a basket. But Joe's a guy who's been out here and who's done really, really well with all of this stuff. And like I said, he's got his skin in the game. When he tells you stuff, he's actually in it for himself.
Yeah, so. And I'll tell you, look, hey guys, I just sold tonight. I may not say the exact amount that I've sold, like percentage, but I'll give you a pretty roundabout estimate of, I scraped some from my whole bag and I sold because I think my dream, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm going to prepare for it, And that's basically it. Or, you know what? It's time to buy, guys. I just got a huge dream last night. Or Woody just called. This coin's probably going to go up soon because whenever that son of a bitch calls me, it's soon. So it's like, oh, that's a good marker. When he calls and he's got a Spirit download, it's get on this shit right now, you little bastard. I'm like,
you've missed a few. Well, Joe, in earnest, you've missed a few at the beginning. You're like, yeah. And then you're like, fuck. I should have listened.
I go tell your Spirit guides. I won't not listen ever again. It's done.
There you go.
Because how much did that cost you? I told him it was like a
big number. I know.
And he's like, yeah, all right. You learn your lesson. I go, yes.
Live and learn. Live and learn. So, folks, universe rewards action. Remember that. Speaking of action, what's going on here, Richard, Mr. Woo Woo Dude at woowoodude.com? People were asking in the show, hey, where can we find Woo Woo Dude? What's on the website here? Do you still do bookings? What's your schedule looking like? And also maybe of this amazing Julianne also on the channel. What's the schedule looking like for now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm booking in June, but yeah, I'm staying busy. But the booking links are up and everything. I've caught up completely on when those rat bastards tried to kill me. But yeah, so we're booking in June, and just go to the link and there we are. But Julianne and I are both there, and I think Joe can contest too. Julianne's pretty good at what she does, huh?
Yeah, she just got a download. Me and JC and Cliff were kind of talking about something privately, like an email, and it was just a little weird kind of a thing. And out of nowhere, she just sent me this email. Oh, Spirit, or the channel came through, and it's about my treasure hunt thing that I drew.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like, we need to tell him some things. Like he's getting some stuff now, and she's like, they need to talk to you, or I need to talk to you. So she did this channel that she typed out without me being present. Basically, they channeled it, she wrote it, and then emailed it to me. But in there is this little subsection about kind of sort of this thing me and him and Cliff are talking about that no one knows. It's just us three with a pretty clear answer.
It was kind of like, okay, where'd that come from?
And I'll go another one up. Me and my friend Amy that I bought the trike from, I was eating lunch with her and her husband today because I had to go fly to see the FAA examiner guy. He lives close by, and he's going to work with me a little bit. Anyways, we're just eating lunch, and we were talking about these rods, the old rods we used to have. And Julianne had mentioned you need to get a new set and get her whatever you get yourself, the same exact one, and blah, blah, blah. So we did. We messed with them a little bit, and we were both having the discussion at the table. And, I tried to just sit still and, please show me a yes or no, or, try to use them. They don't seem to work. Now when I've walked over stuff out in the mountain, boom, they're working. But, to get a yes or no, like a pendulum, I was like, but see, we had told us you need to have a little practice. You got to practice with them, just like anything. And I'm like, okay, so we both had the same thing. I kind of did it a few times. It didn't do anything, so I haven't used them in a little while. Well, we're having the conversation. Well, here comes the Julianne text. Hey, I sent you an email. So I read the thing that's you, me, and Cliff thing in there, and then the other subsection. Oh, by the way, make sure you get back to make sure you use those rods, and it doesn't just work. You got to practice and this and that. I'm going, son of a bitch. We're here talking. The email was already sent. I had no idea she sent it. So this is amazing.
And I had just responded, what the fuck is this all thing about? And then you sent me that email. I'm like, oh my God, the timing is amazing. Guys, I put in the link in the live chat. It's woowoodude.com. When you type that into your URL, it will convert to this address here, New Hampshire, or nhpsychicmedium.com. It's the same website. So either or, whatever you click, I'll put the links here down in the description box below. So you can find the dude of woo here. I love you guys. Oh my God, thank you so much. That was a cool show, guys. Thank you so much for being here live and sharing with us on this beautiful Friday night. Merci beaucoup, Joe. Thank you so much, Richard. Guys, this was another edition of the Wacky Woo. I'm Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on my third backup channel. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be here for as long as this work continues. I thought maybe I'd get to 007. It's always been a good number for me.
You guys need to give trophies out, and every time you get knocked off, you get a bigger trophy. What do you think?
Well, Cliff, Bix will get a participation trophy because he hasn't been knocked off yet. So.
Right.
Well,
he's just always on the edge,
right? They give a lot of those, don't they? Participation trophies.
Yeah, Bix gets a participation trophy.
I think Bix lets me and you, Joe, do all the heavy work in front. And he's kind of like,
He's a very wise man, Mr.
Hey, he's wise. Yeah, he's wise.
Very wise.
And we'll get him back on the show, folks. Don't worry. I love Big Swear. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. I love you guys. Be safe and take action. And at the very least, inform yourself. That's where power remains. And of course, we're all having these shows and these conversations to help you move from fear to power. That's where we get the empowerment and the abundance and the self-mastery for each and every one of us. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and take care. Au revoir.